When Hunt for Red October hit theaters in 1990, it introduced audiences to one of the most tantalizing concepts in submarine warfare: a propulsion system so silent it would be indistinguishable from the ocean itself. No propeller, no moving parts, undetectable. But here's something most viewers don't realize. The film changed the technology from the book. In Tom Clancy's 1984 novel, the Caterpillar drive is a pump jet system, essentially a series of mechanical impellers inside ducted tunnels. Quieter than a traditional propeller, but still fundamentally conventional. The filmmakers replaced it with something far more exotic: magnetohydrodynamic propulsion, using electromagnetic fields to silently accelerate seawater. It made for better cinema. The idea captivated the public and reportedly even some members of Congress. According to Washington lore, after the book's release, several lawmakers contacted the CIA demanding to know why the Soviets had invented this technology before America did. They needn't have worried. The Caterpillar drive was fiction. But here's what makes this story worth telling. The magnetohydrodynamic technology the film depicted, it's real. It exists. It's been built and tested. And yet, the way the Soviets actually achieved silent submarines that genuinely alarmed the U.S. Navy, was through means far more audacious than anything in either the book or the film. This is the true story of the Caterpillar drive, what it is, why it doesn't work, and the Cold War espionage scandal that accomplished what the fictional technology was supposed to do. First, let's address the technology itself. Magnetohydrodynamic propulsion, MHD for short, isn't science fiction. The physics is straightforward. You take seawater, which conducts electricity, pass it through a powerful magnetic field, and run an electric current through it. The interaction creates what's called the Lorentz force, which accelerates the water backward. Newton's third law does the rest. The vessel moves forward. No propeller, no spinning shaft, no mechanical noise. In theory, perfect silence. The concept was tested as early as 1966 when a professor at UC Santa Barbara built a 3-meter MHD submarine. It worked. It achieved a speed of about 0.4 meters per second, roughly a slow walking pace. The Japanese took it further. In 1992, 2 years after the film's release, they launched Yamato 1, a 30-meter vessel powered entirely by MHD propulsion. It achieved just 8 knots. For reference, a modern attack submarine cruises at over 25 knots. The MHD system consumed nearly the entire ship. The efficiency was abysmal, a fraction of what a conventional propeller achieves. The fundamental problem is seawater's low electrical conductivity. Generating meaningful thrust requires enormous magnetic fields and massive amounts of electrical power. The electrodes corrode. Electrolysis creates bubbles that impair efficiency. The power-to-thrust ratio makes it impractical for any military application. As of today, no operational submarine anywhere in the world is known to use magnetohydrodynamic propulsion. So if the Caterpillar drive doesn't work, how did the Soviets actually make their submarines silent? For decades, Soviet submarines had one glaring weakness: they were loud. American sonar operators joked that you could hear a Soviet submarine from across the Atlantic. One reportedly described the acoustic profile as similar to a threshing machine. The noise came from multiple sources: reactor coolant pumps, reduction gears, auxiliary machinery that wasn't always maintained to Western standards, and critically, the propellers. This wasn't merely an inconvenience, it was a strategic vulnerability. The United States had built an underwater listening network called SOSUS that could track Soviet submarines across vast distances. In any conflict, American subs would likely detect and destroy their Soviet counterparts before the Soviets even knew they were being hunted. The Soviets knew this, and they knew it, at least in part, because American spies told them. The Walker spy ring, Navy personnel selling secrets to Moscow throughout the 1970s, revealed just how effectively the U.S. was tracking Soviet submarines. The message was clear: fix the noise problem or risk losing any future naval war. One solution wasn't exotic physics, it was precision manufacturing. Propeller noise comes largely from cavitation, tiny bubbles forming and collapsing in low-pressure zones around the blades. Cavitation increases with speed, but it's also affected by blade geometry and surface finish. A precisely machined propeller with optimized blade shapes cavitates less at any given speed, and that means less noise. The problem was that precision machining of submarine propellers required specialized equipment the Soviets didn't have. But they knew who did. Between 1982 and 1984, the Japanese company Toshiba Machine, working with the Norwegian firm Kongsberg, secretly sold the Soviet Union 8 computer-controlled milling machines capable of machining propeller blades to tolerances the Soviets had never achieved. This was explicitly prohibited. COCOM, the Coordinating Committee for Multilateral Export Controls, banned the transfer of advanced manufacturing technology to Soviet bloc nations. Toshiba and Kongsberg falsified export documents, claiming the machines were simple 2-axis lathes rather than the sophisticated 9-axis systems they actually were. Total value of the initial sale, approximately $17 million. The cost to Western security would prove far higher. The Project 971 submarines, known in the West as the Akula class, began entering service in the mid-1980s. With the new precision manufacturing capability, later variants of these boats became significantly quieter. In February 1995, Admiral Jeremy Boorda, the U.S. Chief of Naval Operations, testified before Congress. This is the first time since we put Nautilus to sea that the Russians have had submarines at sea quieter than ours. As you know, quieting is everything in submarine warfare. The improved Akula boats had reportedly achieved near parity with the U.S. Navy's Los Angeles-class submarines. American submariners could no longer assume acoustic superiority. When the scandal broke in 1987, the reaction in Washington was furious. Congressman Duncan Hunter publicly smashed a Toshiba radio. Some estimates suggested the U.S. would need to spend as much as $30 billion over the following decade to compensate for the damage. Toshiba ran full-page apology advertisements in 91 American newspapers. 2 executives were arrested. The company faced sanctions and was banned from certain U.S. government contracts. But the damage was done. The technology had been transferred. The submarines had been built. So was the Caterpillar drive real? The magnetohydrodynamic propulsion system depicted in the film exists, but it doesn't work, at least not at any practical scale. No silent submarines are known to cruise the depths using electromagnetic fields to push water. But the goal of the Caterpillar drive, a submarine silent enough to evade detection, was absolutely achieved. Not through revolutionary physics, but through corporate espionage and precision manufacturing. Tom Clancy imagined a fictional technology that would give the Soviets silent submarines. In reality, a Japanese electronics company and a Norwegian defense contractor gave them exactly that, for $17 million. Sometimes the truth really is stranger than fiction.